What? So in making that last video, just doing some of the voiceover stuff, usually this whole microphone thing is attached to this this thing here, but it well, in case it wasn't obvious, it's broken now. So I guess I just gotta take this off and figure out a better way to attach the microphone stand to here. Maybe I'll just drill a hole in it. Whilst I may be very tired right now, it is time to open the mail. As usual, package in a package. And this is hands. Oh, more hand-based things. A strap. I'm sure if I put it on a little better and adjust it slightly to fit my hand better, I'm sure it'll work a lot better. Let's see if I pull this back. All grabby. Now for the really expensive thing. So I have got 4 2TB hard drives in my main server here, and that's what holds all my TV shows and movies. And well, those hard drives are secondhand and free, so they are finally starting to show their age and slowly dying. They already had about 1,000 or 3,000 hours on them. So I went online, I purchased a new hard drive for $600. Not a small price, though I did do a couple extra hours at work, which allowed me to save up for this, so that I could finally make the purchase and make the replacement. Here we go. Look at this. Now, we've got a 10TB Western Digital hard drive here. Still vacuum sealed, so that's a good thing. And I'll be chucking this in this hard drive dock and connecting it to my server just via USB so that I can copy all of the files over, because once that hard drive is full of everything that's going to be put on it, it will be the only hard drive in the server. The other drive is an SSD, which is just running the software like Plex and stuff. But for the most part, this is going to be the only drive in the server. That said though, it's not like I really had any backups or safe options if a drive that's already currently in there failed. If it failed, I'd lose all the files anyway. But the important thing is that they are not unique files. They're not videos, home videos, photos, or anything like that. It's all just TV shows and movies, everything that can easily be replaced. Now, the reason I was able to get this drive for so cheap is because it is an old stock drive. We've got the manufacturing date here, I believe, which is 29 November 2018. And that's, what, 6 years ago. This does come up with a 1-year warranty, I think. So hopefully I can lean on that if there's any issues. But it is an UltraStar data center hard drive, so this is made to sort of just be plugged in, turned on, and never turned off again. The new drive. this is heavy. So as you can see, it's a bit of a mess in here with these 4 drives. I am very happy that I can just unplug the 4 of them. Oh man, they feel like they are dang near on fire. Ouch. Ow. Okay, these are incredibly hot to the touch. So that may be one reason why they seem to be using a lot of power and are kind of slow. Ow. Yeah, no, I actually can't put my fingers on them for too long. So let me just pull these drives out. 2 terabytes. 2 terabytes. Ow. Oh, that's like I just got something hot out of the microwave. Okay, let's see. Another 2 terabyte. And another 2 terabyte. Oh, okay. So in case you didn't know, hard drives are not supposed to be that hot. I should be able to comfortably hold a hard drive after it's been turned off. Those hard drives were very hot though. I probably should have had a better fan or something aimed at them. But I was also expecting them to die quite quickly. But luckily for me, they have lasted long enough to the point where I've been able to purchase a new hard drive to replace these 4 2 terabyte hard drives, where I had like a 1.5 redundancy ratio or something. So one of these hard drives could have completely failed and I could slap a new one in and that would cause them probably all to fail in reality, but ideally that would mean that they could rebuild and regain that 1 hard drive redundancy. So I just touched the 100 gig SSD that's in there and it's room temperature. So it's not like the case was causing everything to overheat. I'm going to use a fair number of zip ties, I think, just to try and make sure that it's not going to fall or move in any way. I should be able to pick this server up and shake it and not worry about a hard drive falling out. Let's see how well that's going to go. There we go. I have just doubled my server size. Well, slightly more than doubled. It was 4.2 terabytes. Now it's 10 terabytes. And it's also going to be using a quarter of the power. Now, I use this little dummy dongle plug into the HDMI port just so that it thinks there's a screen plugged into it, so when I remote in there's no weird stuff going on. And to power it on. Not hearing any complaints. I can hear the water pumping through this little AIO that I've got in there, cooling down the CPU, I hope. I hope it works. I have had problems with this AIO before, but I do have a replacement one if I have to put it in. I would prefer to use the replacement one somewhere else, but that's a future project coming up. Alright. Let's go into the computer. No. This was meant to be quick and easy. SATA 3 into this drive. I've got about 8 SATA ports. So technically, I've got a lot of redundancy there. No, it's still not popping up. Ooh, oh, these old drives, they are still incredibly hot. Restart. Definitely feel the hard drive spinning up. I'm quite reasonably, somewhat minorly, sort of sure about that. Right as I get to the home screen, my laptop shuts down because the battery in it is stuffed. It's quite an old laptop. See, there's this strange thing about this kind of technology. You know, everything was working fine. I turned it off. I took out the parts that are no longer needed, that have nothing to do with the added part of, you know, the hard drive. And now nothing's working. It's just the way it is. But a lot of the times, if you put in some unnecessary effort doing something that almost has nothing to do with it, sometimes that will fix it. I think one problem I'm having though is let me just sit this upside down in a place where it can easily get damaged. Connect data. Okay, I found the one I was looking for. So let me plug this into the first available Molex. And now let's plug this on in here. It's powering up. What the dust? Okay. The real only difference, at least as far as I can tell, is this cable here does not have the 3.3 volt power on it. That shouldn't change anything. But it's powered up and working just fine for some reason. So let me just cut the power on this one. I'd like to apologise in advance for this, but yoink! And let's see if this will do. Coming up, wait for it to cool right down. Right, and go. It's powering on. What the dust, man? Okay, so just a little bit of info here. This is your standard SATA hard drive power connector. You see it's got 5 wires here. You've got your 12 volt, you've got your ground, you've got your 5 volt, you've got your ground, and then you've got this orange one on the end here. This is 3.3 volt. Now, I tried it out with this little adapter, Molex, which only has a 5 volt and 12 volt to the SATA power supply. It doesn't have that 3.3 volt, so on one of the cables in the computer, I cut this 3.3 volt, not changing anything else, just removing the 3.3 volt power there, and the hard drive's working fine. What's going on? No clue whatsoever. But it's working, and I knew it would be something stupid. There we go. Back installed, back in place. Now let's tidy these up. Doing a little bit of looking around about that 3.3 line. There are data center drives that use that 3.3 volt line to enable and disable the drive, you know, for when you need to disconnect a drive, you know, make them hot swappable and stuff like that, just for safety stuff. And so when it is receiving 3.3 volts on the 3.3 volt line, it disables the hard drive so that it doesn't spin up and doesn't make any connections or anything, because it's anticipating being unplugged or something like that. Would have been good to know, but yeah, that seems to be what it was. Alright, after an embarrassingly long amount of time just debugging a bit of code, because I completely negated to add in one little section of the code which essentially triggers everything to happen, I finally have control of this little servo via Home Assistant, which is all for this next part of the project. So I'm not quite sure what's happened with a single servo. At first, when I showed you, it worked. Then I altered the code so that I could have more servos running. And it worked for a couple of seconds and then stopped working. And I went back to one servo, wasn't working. I changed servos and that servo worked for a few seconds and then stopped working. I tested both those servos on another device and they were working and responding just fine. I've altered the code a bunch of times to try other people's methods of controlling servos, which have been slightly different, but really not really that different. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but either the servos are crazy or I'm crazy. And after spending way too much time coding, I finally can make these little adjustments. This is to control the LED, and it actually seems to be working. Look at that. Oh, little dancing lines. Managed to dig through my drawers and I found the last 5 MG90S servos. MG90S. So hopefully I can just get these working. So first and foremost, I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to figure out exactly which pins I need. Actually, no. Cancel that. Revoke that. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab this little breakout board, and I've got some of these little pin thingies. I'm going to chuck them in the breakout board, and I'm going to make it so that I can more easily just plug in these servos, and then I'll leave the servos sitting here doing a bit of just a test, you know, just going back and forth, just in order to see if I can actually see how viable this is. I heard them all move. All right. Well, there we go. That was pretty simple, wasn't it? I'm going to see what happens if I set it to do an infinite loop. Okay, I might have been a little bit wrong about that script. It actually just crashed my Home Assistant server. So, just waiting for it to boot up, I guess? Loading, loading. Right, I think I'm in. Let's go into that script and we'll make sure that it finishes with the correct orientation. Oh gosh, just clicking into it, I'm stuck at a blank screen now. So, not sure there's a lot I can do about that script now. Oh, there we go, it's loaded. Okay. So let's just add. It's very laggy. I'm not convinced it managed to do the whole thing, but you know, here it is. I'm just trying to scroll down. There we go. No, not wanting me to scroll or save or do anything. Alright, it's crashed the app on my phone. Let's see if I can get back into it. Well, there we go. This is easier than I anticipated it being. Here it is! Oh, I figured it out. I got a little bit lazy and oh my gosh, I just realized this has Windows 10 Pro on it. I'm going to erase it and it is going to be no more. What a waste of Windows 10 Pro. And it's only got 2 USB ports on it. Oh, I guess there's 2 more on the other side. Man, no wonder I put it out here. Just for some further context, I am sort of in line to replace my Raspberry Pi with this Intel NUC that I have. Originally, I had it set up out here in my garage for the laser engraver because it can be quite smelly, so I didn't want it in the house. But I ultimately don't use it, so this is probably going to be a good changeover. That said, I don't know when this change will happen, but I am thinking I might just order a new M.2 drive to replace the one that's in there so that I don't have to nuke a Windows 10 Pro. Okay, so this should be a good script to sort of indicate if everything's moving the right way, if everything can reach their max value, and if everything's going to return to the appropriate 0 value, which is technically the middle. It's got, I think, 90 degrees either way, and then it returns to the middle, which will be a 45 degree. Okay, run script. Okay, so let's get these all lined up so that facing the same way. Alright, let's run that script again and see what happens. Why is this so not... Alright, it can go one of 2 ways here. Either everything starts working perfectly fine, which means that all that really needed to happen was for the wires to be reseated to make a better connection, or the problem is moved to the servo that's now been plugged into where that servo was just plugged into, which means it is something from here. Let's skip the explanation and jump to the results. Okay. It has moved. That's a good thing. For now. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense though. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Good. Alright, so that 6th one is working perfectly fine. Number 5, for some reason, it's drunk. I don't know what it's doing. It's not doing the right thing. But number 6 seems to be working perfectly fine. And just a note, number 6's code, the code that's controlling it and telling it exactly what to do, is an exact duplicate of the code telling number 5 what to do and how to do. Only thing I changed was it from a 5 to a 6. No difference there. It's even on the pin that number 5 was on. I'll just try remember that 5 is dumb and 6 is the new 5. 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 Got it. Okay, now that we know that the servos are working, I can unplug them all without worrying about if things are going to work. I mean, things aren't going to just work. They never do. That's Murphy's Law. Now, I'm going to store them all in this little baggie, including the spare one. So there's going to be 6 servos in this bag. I do want to note that we're only halfway through debugging, because while I've got the servos working, I've still got to deal with the lights, the LED lights. The 12-volt LED lights. The 12-volt LED lights that are going to be running off of these MOSFETs, transistors, whatever you want to call them. I can't remember their official title. I think they're just a MOSFET. After googling up these little transistors, I can confirm that they are labelled as transistors. Whether or not everyone agrees with that is a different story, but they are labelled as transistors here. It is an NPN transistor, which goes data in, out. I'm used to a, what is it, like a BC547 transistor, where it is in, data, out, but this one is data in, out. If you know about transistors, you'll understand that. Okay, alright. Let's put this in what I would consider backwards. Okay, that light is still coming on. It shouldn't... Oh wait, I do have it turned on here. Hey, it's an LED too. Oh, you can't see it because I've tangled everything up. Hang on, give me a sec. Here it is, a 12-volt LED light, and there we go. On. Let's click into it. Look, I got brightness control. Hey, there we go. Alright, that's fantastic. And that's the debugging done. So, with that in mind, I can start designing and building the circuit board that's going to be controlling all of this. So in order to finish off this video, I will be going to a driver's training class tomorrow for work. I'll try to capture a little on the GoPro and or my cellular device.